spot for the night, Venere-la-Lormes, I think it's pronounced. We are way down there in the shade. We're the only ones in the shade. We thought we were very clever. And we're just going to have a look around, see if we can find a little wee restaurant. Bit of a tight squeeze this morning to get some water at the Nichols yard. Here. We're just running the water a little bit before we put it in the tank, just make sure that it's nice and fresh. And then we'll be on our way. Making the guests do their bit. First look of the day, and we're and with these guys. There's 8 of them on that hire boat, so Nichols. And then we've got all our gongoozlers watching, cyclists. It's all good. Think of it so far, staying on a canal boat in France.
Magical. Bliss, absolute bliss. Can't find the words to describe. It's picturesque, it's serene, it's tranquil, but just beautiful. Relaxing.
Cool. I've got a sneaky little footbath under there as well. Cool down. It's our spot for the night in Montbar. Very nice. Fishing and camping on the side of the canal. It's just beautiful. Walking up the main street of Montbar, they're just doing it all up, putting all new services in. But it's actually going to be really nice. It's quite a neat little town. Love this little building. They look like little life rings up there. We're visiting Abbey Fontenay, which is just out of Montbar. So we've caught a little taxi up here, and we're going to go and have a look around. We've come into one of the rooms. We can hear this squeaking, and there's a little wee bat down here. It's quite smelly, and he is alive. I've seen him moving. And then up in here, up the chimney, a whole lot up there. Absolutely beautiful gardens. Well worth a visit. This is the forge, which was built in the 12th century, and the iron ore was just mined out of the hill overlooking the Abbey about 500 metres away.
This is one of the very first industrial automatic hammers for hammering out the iron ore.
And so that's the hammer, and if you go on the other side of the wall, it's being driven by the water wheel outside. Quite incredible.
And depending on what they were beating, they used to be able to change the head to different shapes.
So here you have the actual wheel. You can see through the don't I, through the bars there. That's the actual bar that we were looking inside. Quite amazing. I am sorry for all of my badly pronounced French. I must explain that my French is terrible. So we're just coming into a little town called Buffon, I think it's pronounced, and it looks quite pretty. There's meant to be a forge on the other side of town, but which we would love to have gone to see, but it's closed today, unfortunately, and we need to keep moving. So, because we've got meeting friends further on. It looks quite pretty through here. They seem very narrow as you're coming up to them. It's quite nerve-wracking. It's harvest time at the moment, and we have lots of these great big tractors, and they race through the towns, and they have these huge loads of hay. You wait. Here he comes. It's so lovely being the first boat through in the morning. The water's clearish, and it's just really beautiful. It's much nicer temperature, so if you can do your travelling in the morning on the boat, it's really pleasant. All the cyclists coming through for the heat of the day. So this one looks like a release into watering the farms, because the farmers are allowed to take water from the canal. And then just up here we have these funny little ramp things, and I think they're for the wildlife, but we're not 100% sure. Tony thinks they might be also a overflow release, but quite often we see the ducks and with all their ducklings onto them, otherwise they can't get out. We have these really good books that we use each day, and it gives you the sections of the canal. So we are just coming up into the thing, and it sort of tells you a little bit about each lock, each of those little chevron looking shapes. It tells you the height of the lock, which is 2.7. It's lock number 71. And then you can see the bridges, as you're going through. So helps you a lot and lets you know what's coming up. It's brilliant. We're wanting to get all the way to here today because we know there's a laundromat there. Tony's going to give this young lady a hand, so he's going to close that gate for her. Oh, he can't get it to go. Oh no, he's got it going now. Bonjour. Not too sure what this big factory, obviously something very big here. A beautiful big cherry tree here. Tony's helping her with the locks. She did speak a little bit of English, which was really good. So she's about to go for her lunch. So we will just get through this lock and then we'll be on our way. But this is a very pretty, lovely little garden and everything. Very pretty. Been amazed at how many crops there are everywhere. There's just hardly any, lots of little towns, but just most of the land is just covered in crops. Rightio, so we have just stopped for lunch and we are just doing a quick recce in to see if there's some old laundry things, which we're going to go and have a look at, see if we can find out what it is. We're hoping that we've got enough time. We're just going to race in and see. I'm thinking this is it. This is the old wash place where they come and do their washing, the little village. I love that moss on the roof, it's cool. Doesn't tell you anything about it. was like a sluicey thing down here. So we've got a nice big river here, probably the biggest one we've had. Big bridge and big fish down there. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, look at them all down there. Heaps of them. We are between 75 and 76 lock, and the weed is probably the worst we've had since Dijon. It's quite bad, both sides. See, it's like very dense. Very clear in the middle though. Here's one of the many quarries in this region. You can see all massive slabs of rock. Quite cool. But we're still in the weed. That is unbelievably thick. Like the birds are standing on it. Looks like a weed cutting machine just up ahead, which is very good news. These are awesome little machines. I don't know whether they actually make it any better or just it's like cutting the grass and it grows more, but it certainly will help us get through. Here he is, this little machine. It's like a little bulldozer thing. That's pretty flash. This place has got some fancy houses. Walking to get our washing done. This is becoming, again, this is becoming a bit of an exercise. There is the machine. We've been walking for about 20 minutes and I can see why people try to get washing machines on their boats, but there's a supermarket here, so that'll be good. We can go wandering in there while our washing is being done. So this is Port La France, and as you can see it's quite full, so we did try to get in over, over there, but we ran aground. So we then ended up, I was already off, so I couldn't get back on. So Tone reversed it out and we've gone down the river under the bridge and we're just on the left-hand side under the bridge. Much nicer, private and in the shade. Here's our boat up there and Tony walking back with our washing. But we just noticed that all these little wear marks here from when the horses used to pull the boats, the working barges through. I don't know how many years it's taken to wear that down. That rock's pretty strong and pretty old. Products of the day, and a new umbrella because our other one folded itself in half and died. Just heard that there was a huge storm in Cognac overnight, and a massive hailstorm which destroyed thousands of acres of crops. So sad. It is pouring down outside, but we have got this opportunity to go and see this Chateau La France. So we're going to walk up in the rain, but there's no photos allowed when you're in there, so unfortunately I'll just have to show you what's on the internet. Well, we've just done the tour inside and absolutely worth going to see. Just incredible building, and the history is incredible. But we're allowed to take photos outside, and this is the view. It's unbelievably beautiful. And there's more. This is on the other side of the building, and it is amazing garden from above. So from the first floor you can see it, and on Google Maps you can see it very clearly. So I'll attach another picture for you from off Google Maps. I've just ridden up to the lock, and it's just slowly filling before they open the gates so that we can come through. So they're quite long. So it can be quite hard to hold the boat sort of in the middle of the stream because there's weed either side and it gets a bit shallow, so it can be a little bit tricky if you're waiting. And then all that weed just in front of the gate, you sort of want to sort of put a neutral just as you go through there so you don't get wound it all around your propeller. Tony's just riding off. I've just come out of the lock on my own, and first time on the boat on my own, so it's good. I feel quite comfortable. Nothing happens too fast, so you've got time to react, so it's all good.
Pressure's on, not to bounce off the sides while I'm filming.
Pressure is on, not to bump.
Looks like she's speeding to me. May be a little heavy in the bow. Might have to move some ballast out of the bow and put it on the port side amidships. Amber's first lock solo. Looks pretty good so far. Makes it look easy. She may be a bit close to the other side. No, she's got it sorted. Turn it off now, I've got to catch some ropes.
You can see here old bollards where the banks have been washed away. How's that for a paddock or a valley of wheat? That is beautiful. It's just so even. It's our Kingfisher lady. Her house is called Kingfisher. And she stopped and had a chat to us. Here's our spot for the night. We're in a little town called Tonnere or Tonnere, I don't know how you pronounce it. We've just had a lovely dinner and we're just doing a bit of rubbish recycling, and then we're going to go for our evening walk. Tony just checking on the prop and clearing any little bits of weed that we picked up last night just before we go for the day. He reckons that little bit of weed there will make a difference of about 1K an hour. so it's worth keeping an eye on it. So this morning we have decided that we're going to move on from Fontenay. We were going to stay here till lunchtime, but the weather's meant to turn to rain this afternoon, so we thought we'd get on to Tonnere and get ourselves settled in before the rain comes this afternoon. In a little town called Tonnere. It's quite sweet. We're all on our own, and there's quite a little town in behind here. And we had to have our lunch on the other side of the lock, and then wait for them to have their lunch, then came through. So another big silos. They're everywhere here. This is obviously massive food growing, wheat growing area. It's meant to get wet this afternoon, so we're going to quickly go out and have a look. Oh, I'm in heaven. This looks interesting. It's a brocante shop. Looks all sorts of goodies. Just walked past this. It's got a big carving on the other side saying 1620. Unbelievable. This is the Fosse d'Uan, I think it's pronounced. This is the old washing area, the laundromat, or whatever you'd call it. And it's a natural spring. But it's quite cool. It's all surrounded by all these old houses. And there's a great big church up on the hill. Quite neat. We're going to try and walk down there. This window is from the 16th century. It's absolutely beautiful compared to the ones in the rest of the church. It's very old. And the people you can hear singing in the background is ready for a concert tomorrow night. Just back from a rather large walk, a bit more than we thought we were going to be doing. We walked all through the town and went to a couple of little brocante shops, bought a few little gifts, and I bought some beautiful old oak frame, which is gorgeous. And what else did I buy? Anyway, and peonies. You know what I'm going to do with those. It's a bit stormy. We might have to put some more chain out. Typical MZs. We got the message wrong and our friends are arriving in about 20 minutes. We've been lying there drinking wine and watching shit. So we're now racing up to the car to meet our friends. So this is St. Florentine, and this is their yard that you can get hauled out on, and they do work here as well. So there's all these boats, so it's quite interesting to know that there is a place here. Lots of people, you know, on the side of the canal waiting maybe, or I don't know, resting for the winter. May not have come here yet. Here we are, this is our little spot for the night in St. Florentine. There's lots of boats. Oh, my battery's low. Lots of boats, and that's the Capitans down there. So this is the first time we've come in stern, and it went really well actually. It was good. Good little. So these are all the little fish that they have in the canals, which is quite interesting. Jim's driving. Yeah, it's continual. You just have to be on it all the time.
Yeah.
Tony doing his duty. He's fantastic. He stands out in the rain and holds on for us while we're waiting for the lock. He's a good man. I'll keep him on. Been invited, which is very kind of them, by a group of people over here to come play pétanque with them. And we've never played it. We've got a set on the boat, but we've never played it, so it's a great opportunity to learn. but a couple of beers down and it's going to be a very entertaining night, I can tell you. So that's it for this week. We've finished in a little town, or quite a big town, called Mgin. And that's the end of the Begonia Canal. And we then go down the Nivernais. So we're heading towards Auxerre. Oh, coming up, Tony's telling me. So, yeah. And we'll see you next week.